Hey guys, this is MDC Technology Central. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. So what we're going to be doing today is discussing whether or not you should buy an older refurbished laptop or a newer cheap laptop. This is the Dell Latitude E7470. This is a Lenovo Chromebook. You can buy both of these for around $250. This one I found off of eBay and this one I found off of Amazon. So my question that I want to answer today is, based on what you want out of a computer, should you buy an older refurbished laptop or a new cheap laptop? Let's get started. So first let's talk about the Dell Latitude 7470. So this laptop has the Core i5-6300U, the Ultrabook version, with Intel HD Graphics 520, so it's the 6th generation Skylake laptop. This laptop, when I bought it, came with 8 gigabytes of memory, but I've added another additional 8 gigabytes of memory, so now I have 16. It has a 256 gigabyte SSD with Windows 11 installed, as you can see. Overall, the performance is very good. I have no complaints about the performance. An Intel Core i5 from 6th generation is plenty for many people. Moore's Law doesn't really apply as much these days. A lot of the time they'll have a ton of Chrome tabs all open at once, a bunch of Word documents, spreadsheets, Spotify, and all of my different apps open at once, and it never stutters. I've been using this for about 3 months and I have not experienced many issues with it. The battery life can range from anywhere from 5 to 7 hours depending on how heavy using it, but that's only because this came with the new battery. A lot of the time, if you're buying an older laptop, there is a risk that it will come with a very old battery. So if you do order an older refurbished laptop, I'd recommend buying a new battery for it. It also features 3 USB 3.0 ports. It's got an HDMI port, display port, Ethernet, a headphone jack, SIM card reader, an SD card reader, and a smart card reader if you're into that. This model also is mostly plastic. It's got some metal accents, as you can see on here, but it is mostly plastic, even though it doesn't feel like it. It feels very premium. There's not a lot of flex in the chassis. This also comes with a 14-inch 1440p touchscreen, which I have no complaints about. Even if it's not the crispest thing in the world, it does get the job done. It has a very high maximum brightness, so you can see pretty well outdoors. This model also comes with a backlit keyboard. It's got 3 settings: off, 50%, and 100%. It's not the brightest keyboard in the world, but it will look pretty nice once you actually see it in person. Speaking of the keyboard is very responsive. I can type very comfortably on this keyboard. This keyboard is, like, I've always thought that Dell had the best keyboards, even better than MacBooks in my opinion, but keyboards on Dell laptops are good, and this laptop is no exception. This laptop also comes with 802.11ac Wi-Fi support along with Bluetooth 4.0. I should also mention the webcam. The webcam it's a 2 megapixel camera that's capable of recording 1080p at 30 FPS. So if you use this laptop for Zoom calls, you should be fine. It's not going to be the crispest thing in the world, and there is a lot of noise in the camera if you are in an environment that doesn't have a lot of light. But overall, there's a pretty good experience to be found on this laptop. Alright, next up is our Lenovo Chromebook C330. So I want you to keep in mind that this laptop is a lot less powerful than that other laptop over there. It runs on a MediaTek 8173. It's got 4 gigs of RAM and it's got 64 gigs of eMMC storage. And it is fully supported as of this video. It is running Chrome OS version 99 as of the recording of this video. And it can be found on Amazon on $243 in this same color here. Now, because this is a Chromebook and it's relatively new, the battery life is amazing. It can be anywhere from 9 to 12 hours depending on how you use it. It also features a USB-C charging port. It's got an HDMI jack, 1 USB port, and an SD card reader. And it's also got a headphone jack. This one comes with an 11.6-inch 1366 by 768 screen, so it's not the crispest thing in the world, but it is going to get the job done. Typing is very average on this laptop. The keyboard is very mushy and it's got a lot of flex in the chassis, which isn't good. The laptop in general does have a lot of flex. Since it is mostly made out of plastic, there's just a lot of flex to be found in the chassis. But this does have another thing going for it. It is a convertible, so you can hold it as a tablet, which is, I think, my preferred way of using this because it is 2.8 pounds. It's pretty light, so it is pretty easy to use in that form. Performance in general, if you open more than a couple Chrome tabs, you'll get to start to see performance dipping, especially if you're streaming. But overall, if you don't use your laptop as intensively, if you don't have a ton of tabs open all at once, your performance should be fine. Since this is a Chromebook, it does support Android apps from the Play Store. And as you can see here, the experience is mostly pretty good. I don't have any problems with Android apps on here. You can usually play games on here. Games on here are generally pretty responsive and they're pretty, and since this does have a touchscreen, it is much better on this as opposed to other non-touchscreen Chromebooks. And there are some apps that are available on Windows that do have limited versions available on the Google Play Store, like Word. Like the Dell, this does come with 802.11ac Wi-Fi and also comes with Bluetooth. So like I said before, for 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi, it would have 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi support as well. Now, unlike the refurbished laptop, when you buy this, you will come with some sort of warranty. So one thing that you should know is that if something were to go wrong with this will be fine, but over there on the refurbished side, if something goes wrong, you have to be able to fix it on your own, because if you're not tech savvy enough to figure it out on your own, then you're not going to be able to fix any issues that come up. And if you're wondering why I chose a Chromebook for this comparison, this is to make it a little bit more fair. So there are Windows laptops that are in this price range, around $250, but they are really much worse experience-wise on the Windows side. As you may know, Windows is a lot more processor intensive. It needs a lot more memory than Chrome OS does because it is a lot heavier. So if you run it on a laptop like this with 4 gigs of RAM, it's just not going to go well. If you look on Best Buy in this price range, you'll see a ton of Intel Celeron with 4 gigs of memory, and it's just not going to be a good experience. As for the webcam, it is a 0.9 megapixel 720p 30 fps max. It is not the crispest thing in the world, but it will be able to record you while you're doing your Zoom calls or whatever else you need to do with this specific thing. Overall, I had a pretty good experience with both of these laptops. So this laptop, like I said before, was purchased from eBay. And one thing you need to know is that for the most part, warranty is not offered on refurbished laptops. You can find official sources like from Newegg or Amazon that do have refurbished laptops, but for the most part, you aren't going to find any warranty. If you're going to buy a refurbished laptop, you have to accept the risk that something could go wrong, that you are the one responsible for fixing it. You cannot call the manufacturer and ask them to fix it for you. However, if you choose a model that's in good condition like I did, you shouldn't have any problems. So let me tell you some tips to finding a good one. First, look very closely at any pictures on the listing. You have to mouse over each picture to get a good look at any blemishes, dents, or scratches, or screen damage. Look at the description carefully. Read everything it says. Make sure that you listen and you read what is missing. If it's missing parts, if there are any problems with the computer, or if the computer itself is missing parts like a hard drive, memory, or whatever else that could be missing. It is on you to read the description carefully and read to make sure you're not missing anything. Basically, just look for a model that you like. I personally chose a Dell Latitude because I like the Dell Latitude series. So I went to the Dell Latitude Wikipedia page and found this model, and that's what I decided to get. And don't be afraid to ask questions to any of the sellers. Which laptop should you get? If you're a little tech savvy or you're willing to learn, I would go with the refurbished model because you get better performance and you do get better quality laptops. But if you're not as tech savvy and you don't need the performance as much, I would go for the newer, cheaper one. I would recommend a Chromebook over a Windows laptop in this price range because there aren't that many good Windows laptops in this price range. Or if you want a nice compromise between performance and power, I would recommend increasing your budget a little bit. One model I recommend for the price to performance balance is the Dell Inspiron 5000 14-inch model. It comes with an 11th generation i3 processor, 8 gigs of RAM, and it's got 256 gigs of SSD storage. This one can be found on Best Buy for around $400. So it is a pretty good laptop like the Chromebook. It is also convertible, so you can use it in this mode. It is also a little bit newer since, like I said, it's an 11th generation laptop. So it is going to be a little more newer, a little more powerful than even the Latitude over there. Thank you guys so much for watching. If this video helped you, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.